Today we are going to read the book Meteor by Patricia Polacco. Our image on the inside. I love that beautiful picture, that illustration. Patricia Polacco always illustrates her own books as well. I don't know if you're familiar with her or not, but you might actually recognize like her style. She's written so many books. And she wrote to my family who actually lived this remarkable event. So this book that we're reading, Meteor, is based on a true story. Many years ago, when my brother and I were small, Mom let us spend the summer with our grandma and grandpa Gaw on their farm in Michigan. One night, far above that little farm, a star sputtered and flashed and started to fall. As it fell through the night sky, the geese honked their alarm, the chickens cackled, and the goats bleated and jumped wildly about. Yeah, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but like animals, a lot of times when there are natural events, like natural disasters or things that happen, a lot of times they can give us a warning or they see that before it happens. So I like that these farm animals were giving their alarm. The bright light was a long fiery tail streaked through the sky unnoticed by my family. Grandpa was reading the Herald. Grandma was correcting school papers. Cousin Steve was tinkering with his wireless. My brother, Richard, was practicing the piano, and I was reading a storybook. By the way, the wireless is not what we think of. Looks like he's trying to come up with some electricity or something. This is written a long time ago. Patricia Polacco is in her mid to late 70s right now. So, we're talking about a long time ago. When we talk about wireless, it's not a cell phone or some sort of device. Suddenly, without warning, the house started shaking. Plaster came loose from the ceiling. Dishes fell from shelves. Rugs curled on the floor as if they had a life of their own. The flaming object made a terrible sound as it went shrieking over the roof of the house. Then it crashed into the ground with a horrible loud boom. It landed with such force that glass broke, chairs overturned, windows rattled, and walls shuddered. The front door was laid open by the blast, and through it an eerie light could be seen glowing from a big hole in the front yard. We were stunned. But soon curiosity overcame, and we timidly made our way outdoors for a look-see. Yeah. I know a couple years ago at my house, there was a tornado and we were all scared. We were down in the basement. And as soon as we could go outside safely, we went out and looked to see what had happened, what kind of damage there was. So that's what they're doing here too. Why, it's a fallen star, Grandpa gasped. All of the places on Earth a meteor could have fallen, it landed smack dab in the middle of our yard, Grandma exclaimed. Grandpa and Cousin Steve pounded the stakes all around the meteor and roped it off. So if it's on the ground, it's not a meteor anymore. What is that? It's a meteorite because it's right here on Earth. The next morning, Grandma called Uncle Carl. That's what I said, Carl, a real falling star right in my front yard. Carl called Bertie Potter. Did you hear, Bertie? A falling star. Out by the Gaw Pace in Mudsock Meadow. Came in so low it almost hit the house. Bertie called Mayor Hatch. That's right, Howard. It took off the roof and almost hit the clothesline. That poor family. Mayor Hatch called Pearly Beach. Unbelievable. Took the roof, the power lines, and hit a cow. This is like that game of telephone that maybe you've played before where, information starts one way and as people are sharing that information, it changes. Didn't hit a cow. Oh, it keeps going. It keeps going. Look, they are all playing telephone. Look at that image. Pearly called Vera. I tell you, it flattened the Gaw Place, took the power lines, water mains, killed the stock, and it's still smoking. Vera called Mr. Titus at the hardware store. The whole place is gone. The barn, the animals, and there's poison smoke a-coming from it. Mr. Titus called Officer Washburn, who called the fire chief. "Sounds like they'll be needing us," Chief Quissel exclaimed. He started up engine 23, turned on the siren, and headed out. But news traveled through the town faster than the engine could leave the firehouse. And Union City was abuzz with what happened in Mudsock Meadow. Merchants closed their shops, schools were let out before noon, and just about everyone in the town headed for the Gaw place to see the mysterious meteorite. It says meteor in here, so I don't know if that was not a term when this was published, but we just know that there is a difference. I wonder how big it is. Just think, it came all the way from out in space. Isn't this the most exciting thing? I can't wait to see Carly, Georgie, and the kids. This is more excited than when Birdie Fellspaw got her elbow caught in the revolving door at the library over Coldwater Way. By the way, the location of this is only about an hour and a half from where I go to the lake. And Patricia Polacco still lives up there part-time. She also splits her time in California. So I'm hoping to get out to go to her property at some point. She has special events. So when it's not COVID, obviously, hopefully I can go out and see. As the crowd jostled, trotted, rolled, and bumped through the countryside, bystanders and onlookers joined in and came along to see the meteor. Dr. Trotter's medicine wagon, the Coldwater Chautauqua Circus, and the Union City Ladies Lyceum fell with the parade of citizens. They were soon joined by the Union City High School band, which hooted, tooted, boomed, and jingled their instruments as they ran down the hillside. That's fun. So the whole city, including the high school band, had a parade to celebrate this awesome meteorite. As more and more people arrived, Grandma and Grandpa's farm became a carnival of meteoric events. Meteor basket lunches were auctioned. Meteor popcorn was popped. Meteor lemonade was made. Meteor lemonade was sold. And the Chautauqua Circus was going to give a I can't say that, a meteoric performance. But most folks simply stood and stared at the wondrous meteor. To think, Grandma repeated to everyone, of all the places on Earth it could have landed, it came smack dab in the middle of our yard. She beamed with pride and was truly happy to see friends that she usually only saw once or twice a year. That's really cool. All the people in the town wanted to come and see it. And everybody just started selling things that they put meteor in front of. You want a piece of meteor gum? Meteor candy? Meteor popcorn? Helio the Great, master of stratospheric maneuvers and atmospheric acrobatics, while on his way to the Iona State Fair, landed his hot air balloon and offered special meteor rides. These included an ascent of approximately 40 feet and a slow descent in order to take in the full panorama of the farm and the meteor. The Union City High School band gave a meteoric concert. That's really cool. So everyone is celebrating that this came. In the midst of all the festivities, a group of scientists arrived from Battle Creek College, the University of Michigan, and Michigan State University science departments. They set up their buzzing testing equipment and put on strange-looking protective suits. They turned on all of the machinery. Click, click, pop, whiz, pew, pry, it went. The scientists looked thoughtful, scratched their heads, and wrote down lots and lots of data. They measured, pondered, quizzed, and figured. The crowd leaned closer as the chief finally spoke. "Yes, sir, that there is a genuine meteorite." So he said meteorite. The crowd clapped and cheered. Charlie Lake struck up the band, and the circus began a meteoric performance. Get it? Everything's meteor related. Ling Po and Ping Hao, the jugglers, threw little golden balls and shiny silver rings around and around in the air, while Tilly and Lily, the dancing elephants, balanced on one foot as the leaping Luckies. The trained dogs jumped about and did somersaults. The Union City Lyceum dance troupe performed a special number of interpretive movement depicting both the falling of Meteor and the last days of Pompeii. So Pompeii is that city in Italy that Mount Vesuvius erupted, and it completely killed everyone. But this was long, long ago. But when it's discovered, everything was completely preserved in ash because it just happened really quick. So I like that these dancers are doing interpretive dance to kind of show what happened when the lava came at Mount Vesuvius, but also the meteorite falling, or the meteorite landing on Earth. So, I touched the meteor, Tommy Enderby said to Marietta Krimmel, and as soon as I did, I could play my trumpet better than ever before. Marietta told Cecil Potter that after she touched the meteor, she thought up the best recipe for pie she ever did have. I'm going to enter the pie contest at the next fair, she exclaimed. Cecil told Dr. Trotter that since she touched the meteor, she had more energy than she'd had in years. I tell you, I could feel something coming right up into my finger. From that there fallen star. It's magic, I tell you. Dr. Trotter claimed that ever since he touched the meteor, his liniment had acquired super mysterious healing powers. Holly D. Lonsberry, in turn, was convinced that his best hog was going to become a prize winner. I'm going to enter him to the Iona State Fair, he chirped to Gladys Pardee. Gladys was positive that since she touched the meteor, her eyesight improved instantly. I'm telling you, Leonard, she said to Mr. Pinehurst, I can see all the way back across the barnyard. Extraordinary, he sighed as he stared at his forefinger. I touched it too, and I feel special, really special. So they all believe it has some sort of like healing powers or some sort of special powers. You know, people still think about that, you know, with different things like crystals and, you know, there's just different things that people find to kind of help them, like something like a lucky something. I don't know. I don't know if there's any scientific proof that any of those things are there, but sometimes it can help with our mindset, right? As folks left the Gaw farm that day, they all felt special. They were changed somehow, inspired by the act of touching something that had flown across the galaxy. It seemed like the magic, all right. The Union City Band went on to win the state championship that year, thanks to a trumpet solo played by Tommy Enderby. And Marietta's current blueberry pie took first place at the county fair. Hollis D. Lonsberry Best Hog Herman won Best of Show at the Iona State Fair. Maybe these things would have happened anyway, but who could say for sure? All I know is that for 3 generations, the meteor was a source of wonder to the little town of Union City, Michigan, and especially to my family. It remained on the very spot where it landed until it was moved to a lovely green hillside overlooking the St. Joseph River to become my grandmother's headstone. It is there to this day. And that is the end of this story. So I love this story. And, you know, meteorites do land on Earth. And we can check out some of the locations of them because they're also in museums today when people find them. So, you know, you're able to go view a meteorite in person at different locations. We're going to check some of those out. This is Patricia Polacco, the author and illustrator of the book Meteor. And here is the actual meteorite from the book. So it is now serving as her grandmother's headstone. Ohio has 14 confirmed meteorites. A recovered meteorite is identified either as a fall or a find. And a meteorite identified as a fall means that the specimen was observed falling through the atmosphere just before being discovered. A find is a meteorite that was not observed descending through Earth's atmosphere and was recovered at some point in time after the landing. So if you look at this map, you can see where all of the meteorites have been found in Ohio. And you can also see the impact site as well. This image is the Dayton meteorite. Next time you get to COSI, see if you can find a meteorite there. Sometimes they have tabletop demonstrations. The American Museum of Natural History in New York City has the Willamette Meteorites. The Willamette Meteorite weighs 15.5 tons. This iron meteorite, which was found in Oregon, is the largest ever found in the United States and the 6th largest in the world. The smooth surface melted during its blazing entry into the atmosphere, while the pits formed on the Earth's surface. How cool is that? You can view actual meteorites in person. There's lots of other locations, so if you're interested in finding a meteorite to see, look it up and see what you can find. Maybe you need some meteoric popcorn to entertain you too. All right, that's all for me. Take care. Peace.